So, dito po sa law na 'to, dito po sa site na 'to, marami pang scene, paki-move na lang po tayo dito sa harapan. Anyway, free naman to stand up later and go outside to the CR. Pero po, paki-fill up na po yung mga vacant seat dito sa harapan natin. Thank you very much.
This is the start, not the end. This is the start of the next chapter in our mission to ensure plastic is not thrown away or lost to landfill. At Dow, we're working to ensure plastic has as many lives as possible and ideally becomes fully circular with no plastic going to waste. And so we continue to develop innovative technologies across every stage of a plastic's life. A key tool in closing the loop is mechanical recycling. It's a process that involves grinding, washing and drying plastics. The pieces are then broken down into flakes. We are taking this used plastic and combining it with advanced resins to create new resins called Revolup. They contain a high percentage of consumer material that can be turned into new products. From stretch wrap films used to transport goods, to collation shrink wrap films, to artificial turf. And we're continually exploring new applications. That means a decrease in fossil-based feedstock needs, less plastic waste, and significant lower carbon emissions. In fact, Revolup has up to 1/3 of the carbon impact compared to virgin resins. We all benefit. At Dow, we are committed to using our expertise, knowledge and passion to close the loop on plastic waste. Mechanical recycling is an important and crucial contributor to waste management. This is not the end. This is the start of a new chapter.
Our stories are not ours alone. With animals, ocean, and all life on this planet, our stories are woven together. With happiness and struggle. With grief and triumph. With sounds of laughter and squeals of delight. With whispers of love and a child's first cry. Our stories are driven by purpose. For humanity to empower social recycling and steward the ocean. Stories of humans who believe that the creation of a wasteless world starts with them. Our stories of becoming, change, purpose, a solution, a movement. Our stories of becoming the humans of social recycling.
para maging right your name, everything, and everything for your record. So,
This is the start, not the end. This is the start of the next chapter in our mission to ensure plastic is not thrown away or lost to landfill. At Dow, we're working to ensure plastic has as many lives as possible and ideally becomes fully circular with no plastic going to waste. And so we continue to develop innovative technologies across every stage of a plastic's life. A key tool in closing the loop is mechanical recycling. It's a process that involves grinding, washing and drying plastics. The pieces are then broken down into flakes. We are taking this used plastic and combining it with advanced resins to create new resins called Revolup. They contain a high percentage of consumer material that can be turned into new products. From stretch wrap films used to transport goods, to collation shrink wrap films, to artificial turf. And we're continually exploring new applications. That means a decrease in fossil-based feedstock needs, less plastic waste, and significant lower carbon emissions. In fact, Revolup has up to 1/3 of the carbon impact compared to virgin resins. We all benefit. At Dow, we are committed to using our expertise, knowledge and passion to close the loop on plastic waste. Mechanical recycling is an important and crucial contributor to waste management. This is not the end. This is the start of a new chapter.
Our stories are not ours alone. With animals, ocean, and all life on this planet, our stories are woven together. With happiness and struggle. With grief and triumph. With sounds of laughter and squeals of delight. With whispers of love and a child's first cry. Our stories are driven by purpose. For humanity to empower social recycling and steward the ocean. Stories of humans who believe that the creation of a wasteless world starts with them. Our stories of becoming, change, purpose, a solution, a movement. Our stories of becoming the humans of social recycling.
This is the start, not the end. This is the start of the next chapter in our mission to ensure plastic is not thrown away or lost to landfill. At Dow, we're working to ensure plastic has as many lives as possible and ideally becomes fully circular with no plastic going to waste. And so we continue to develop innovative technologies across every stage of a plastic's life. A key tool in closing the loop is mechanical recycling. It's a process that involves grinding, washing and drying plastics. The pieces are then broken down into flakes. We are taking this used plastic and combining it with advanced resins to create new resins called Revolup. They contain a high percentage of consumer material that can be turned into new products. From stretch wrap films used to transport goods, to collation shrink wrap films, to artificial turf. And we're continually exploring new applications. That means a decrease in fossil-based feedstock needs, less plastic waste, and significant lower carbon emissions. In fact, Revolup has up to 1/3 of the carbon impact compared to virgin resins. We all benefit. At Dow, we are committed to using our expertise, knowledge and passion to close the loop on plastic waste. Mechanical recycling is an important and crucial contributor to waste management. This is not the end. This is the start of a new chapter.
Our stories are not ours alone. With animals, ocean, and all life on this planet, our stories are woven together. With happiness and struggle. With grief and triumph. With sounds of laughter and squeals of delight. With whispers of love and a child's first cry. Our stories are driven by purpose. For humanity to empower social recycling and steward the ocean. Stories of humans who believe that the creation of a wasteless world starts with them. Our stories of becoming, change, purpose, a solution, a movement. Our stories of becoming the humans of social recycling.
This is the start, not the end. This is the start of the next chapter in our mission to ensure plastic is not thrown away or lost to landfill. At Dow, we're working to ensure plastic has as many lives as possible and ideally becomes fully circular with no plastic going to waste. And so we continue to develop innovative technologies across every stage of a plastic's life. A key tool in closing the loop is mechanical recycling. It's a process that involves grinding, washing and drying plastics. The pieces are then broken down into flakes. We are taking this used plastic and combining it with advanced resins to create new resins called Revolup. They contain a high percentage of consumer material that can be turned into new products. From stretch wrap films used to transport goods, to collation shrink wrap films, to artificial turf. And we're continually exploring new applications. That means a decrease in fossil-based feedstock needs, less plastic waste, and significant lower carbon emissions. In fact, Revolup has up to 1/3 of the carbon impact compared to virgin resins. We all benefit. At Dow, we are committed to using our expertise, knowledge and passion to close the loop on plastic waste. Mechanical recycling is an important and crucial contributor to waste management. This is not the end. This is the start of a new chapter.
Our stories are not ours alone. With animals, ocean, and all life on this planet, our stories are woven together. With happiness and struggle. With grief and triumph. With sounds of laughter and squeals of delight. With whispers of love and a child's first cry. Our stories are driven by purpose. For humanity to empower social recycling and steward the ocean. Stories of humans who believe that the creation of a wasteless world starts with them. Our stories of becoming, change, purpose, a solution, a movement. Our stories of becoming the humans of social recycling.
This is the start, not the end. This is the start of the next chapter in our mission to ensure plastic is not thrown away or lost to landfill. At Dow, we're working to ensure plastic has as many lives as possible and ideally becomes fully circular with no plastic going to waste. And so we continue to develop innovative technologies across every stage of a plastic's life. A key tool in closing the loop is mechanical recycling. It's a process that involves grinding, washing and drying plastics. The pieces are then broken down into flakes. We are taking this used plastic and combining it with advanced resins to create new resins called Revolup. They contain a high percentage of consumer material that can be turned into new products. From stretch wrap films used to transport goods, to collation shrink wrap films, to artificial turf. And we're continually exploring new applications. That means a decrease in fossil-based feedstock needs, less plastic waste, and significant lower carbon emissions. In fact, Revolup has up to 1/3 of the carbon impact compared to virgin resins. We all benefit. At Dow, we are committed to using our expertise, knowledge and passion to close the loop on plastic waste. Mechanical recycling is an important and crucial contributor to waste management. This is not the end. This is the start of a new chapter.
Our stories are not ours alone. With animals, ocean, and all life on this planet, our stories are woven together. With happiness and struggle. With grief and triumph. With sounds of laughter and squeals of delight. With whispers of love and a child's first cry. Our stories are driven by purpose. For humanity to empower social recycling and steward the ocean. Stories of humans who believe that the creation of a wasteless world starts with them. Our stories of becoming, change, purpose, a solution, a movement. Our stories of becoming the humans of social recycling.
Morning. May we please ask everyone to settle down? We will begin in 2 minutes. Thank you. Everyone, good morning again, and welcome back to the second day of the ASEAN Plastic Packaging and Recycling Technology Summit. My name is Diana Hussein, your host for this event. Let me just do a quick recap of day one. So we had presentations from Dr. Joseph Ross Johnson of Asian Packaging Federation, Mr. Aaron Lau of Philippine Plastics Industry Association, Mr. Vincent Liao of Everpolymer, Mr. Ivan Pan of FIMIC, Mr. Rolando Marasigan Jr. of Association of Petrochemical Manufacturers of the Philippines, Ms. Uyen Mai of Dow Packaging and Specialty Plastics, Mr. Dennis T. of Plastic Bank, Mr. Roberto Guevara of Philippine Alliance for Recycling and Material Sustainability, Ms. Ana Maria Veronica Ortiza Solano of the La Salle College of St. Benilde, Manila, and Mr. Saar Herman of ASM Global and Green Ants Builders. So this morning we have 5 more presentations. We have also scheduled a factory tour to Manly Plastics in Malabon, which stands as the largest provider of end-to-end plastic product solutions in the Philippines, capable of everything from mold engineering to fabrication and mass production to design. All right. Now, without further ado, let us begin with the presentations. We will start with the Department of Science and Technology, Industrial Technology Development Institute, or DOST-ITDI, to learn more about elevating packaging alternatives in the Philippines through its Green Packaging Laboratory, or GPL. Let us all welcome DOST-ITDI Science Research Specialist, Dr. Angel Basbasan.
Hello, good morning. Okay, I hope we had a sweet sleep last night, as I do. Okay, first I would like to thank Ranger Events for inviting DOST to present or to introduce to you the Green Packaging Laboratory because this was recently established last year. And we would like to introduce to the industry that we have this kind of laboratory intended for sustainable packaging. But it is named the meantime as Green Packaging Laboratory. Okay, for the title of my presentation is elevating Elevating packaging alternatives in the Philippines through the Green Packaging Laboratory of the Department of Science and Technology, Industrial Technology Development Institute. Okay, before I will discuss what we are doing in the Green Packaging Laboratory, I would like to present first what is the backbone of the establishment GPL. Let's just say GPL for Green Packaging Laboratory. Okay, actually, this is slide is just a review for all of us why packaging is necessary for every product. Okay, because we have the ultimate consumer, they have the requirements to be satisfied. So if we don't have the packaging for our products, there is a high chance that the product might be uh, fail to satisfy the requirements of the ultimate consumer. We are thankful because there is packaging in order to contain the product. But we all know that beyond containment is the functions of packaging. So being just a container is not only the function of packaging. More than that, packaging is there to protect the product. Protect from what? For every factor that can contribute to the deterioration of the product. And of course, packaging is there to protect also the environment in case that your product is hazardous to the environment. Also, for every product, there is these quality parameters that should be preserved. We are thankful because there is packaging to preserve those quality attributes in order to satisfy the ultimate consumer. And also, packaging is a communication tool because not every time the manufacturer is beside their product. to introduce or to give information about your product. So through the label, which is a component or element of the package, it serves as a communication tool to give information what about the products. And lastly, packaging provides convenience to have efficient distribution of the goods and to conveniently use the products. And actually, convenience is a major contributor.
This is the start, not the end. This is the start of the next chapter in our mission to ensure plastic is not thrown away or lost to landfill. At Dow, we're working to ensure plastic has as many lives as possible and ideally becomes fully circular with no plastic going to waste. And so we continue to develop innovative technologies across every stage of a plastic's life. A key tool in closing the loop is mechanical recycling. It's a process that involves grinding, washing and drying plastics. The pieces are then broken down into flakes. We are taking this used plastic and combining it with advanced resins to create new resins called Revolup. They contain a high percentage of consumer material that can be turned into new products. From stretch wrap films used to transport goods, to collation shrink wrap films, to artificial turf. And we're continually exploring new applications. That means a decrease in fossil-based feedstock needs, less plastic waste, and significant lower carbon emissions. In fact, Revolut has up to 1/3 of the carbon impact compared to virgin resins. We all benefit. At Dow, we are committed to using our expertise, knowledge and passion to close the loop on plastic waste. Mechanical recycling is an important and crucial contributor to waste management. This is not the end. This is the start of a new chapter.
Our stories are not ours alone. With animals, ocean, and all life on this planet, our stories are woven together. With happiness and struggle. With grief and triumph. With sounds of laughter and squeals of delight. With whispers of love and a child's first cry. Our stories are driven by purpose. For humanity to empower social recycling and steward the ocean. Stories of humans who believe that the creation of a wasteless world starts with them. Our stories of becoming, change, purpose, a solution, a movement. Our stories of becoming the humans of social recycling.
This is the start, not the end. This is the start of the next chapter in our mission to ensure plastic is not thrown away or lost to landfill. At Dow, we're working to ensure plastic has as many lives as possible and ideally becomes fully circular with no plastic going to waste. And so we continue to develop innovative technologies across every stage of a plastic's life. A key tool in closing the loop is mechanical recycling. It's a process that involves grinding, washing and drying plastics. The pieces are then broken down into flakes. We are taking this used plastic and combining it with advanced resins to create new resins called Revolup. They contain a high percentage of consumer material that can be turned into new products. From stretch wrap films used to transport goods, to collation shrink wrap films, to artificial turf. And we're continually exploring new applications. That means a decrease in fossil-based feedstock needs, less plastic waste, and significant lower carbon emissions. In fact, Revolup has up to 1/3 of the carbon impact compared to virgin resins. We all benefit. At Dow, we are committed to using our expertise, knowledge and passion to close the loop on plastic waste. Mechanical recycling is an important and crucial contributor to waste management. This is not the end. This is the start of a new chapter.
Our stories are not ours alone. With animals, ocean, and all life on this planet, our stories are woven together. With happiness and struggle. With grief and triumph. With sounds of laughter and squeals of delight. With whispers of love and a child's first cry. Our stories are driven by purpose. For humanity to empower social recycling and steward the ocean. Stories of humans who believe that the creation of a wasteless world starts with them. Our stories of becoming, change, purpose, a solution, a movement. Our stories of becoming the humans of social recycling.
Hello everyone. My objective by end of this presentation is to help you understand how advanced plastic recycling technology can enable cost-effective operations. So let's jump right into the presentation. Before we start the technical presentation, a little bit about myself. I am Suhas Dikshit, founder and CEO of AP Chemi. I am formally trained in chemistry, chemical engineering, marketing, and contract management. I've been inventing technologies since 2007. I've got 12 patents, three patents granted in India, one patent granted in South Africa, and these patents also are going positive examination in Europe and USA. My expertise is pyrolysis of plastic, tire, and biomass, also purification of pyrolysis oil, as well as advanced or chemical recycling of end-of-life plastic waste. About my company, we are AP Chemi or Agile Process Chemicals. As AP Chemi, we are leaders in pyrolysis. We turn non-recyclable plastic, tire, and biomass waste into value. These are the visuals of the projects that we have developed and the field in which we are working. We have developed 47 pyrolysis plants since 2007 to process plastic, tire, and biomass. We are supported by Shell Petrochemicals. We recently raised $2.4 million in collaboration with Aalborg University, Denmark, to convert plastic waste and biomass waste into green hydrogen. It's a 3-year research program. Waste and biomass waste into green hydrogen. It's a 3-year research program that we are working with in collaboration with Aalborg University. We are working on global projects of converting plastic, tire, and biomass into high-value products. In Europe, we are working on a 240 metric ton per day pyrolysis plant. Recently, we completed 42 metric ton per day pyrolysis plant engineering assignment planned to be deployed in UK. Projects that we have done till now have generated over 3,000 jobs globally. Recently, we have generated over 7 proof of concept on how you can start with this kind of end of life plastic waste and produce a chemically recycled or advanced recycled projects using this kind of technology and machinery. We offer award-winning solutions to accelerate plastic circularity and decarbonization. We have won Indo-Danish green hydrogen funding call for conversion of plastic into hydrogen. Our technology has been recognized as circular disruptive technology for managing plastic waste. A couple of years ago, we won KPMG's Enrich Award for ready to scale startup. We have an exceptional team. I'm very proud of my team. I have 12 years experience in this domain. Aruna heads operations with um, uh, 10 years experience in Tesco as well as Maersk in operations. Sanam has experience of developing over 50 pyrolysis projects with us. We have right set of advisors, and together as a team of 20, we have 310 years of experience in pyrolysis and oil purification. And we are united by a common vision to engineer plastic circularity. Our team kind of goes beyond our in-house team. We have collaborated across the world with global corporates, academia, as well as leading platforms that are working in the domain of plastic circularity as well as decarbonization. Now let's start with the technical presentation. Now, if we look at what are the different types of plastic waste that are available and what are the different types of technologies that are available for managing this type of plastic waste, this is the slide that you want to look at. So you must have seen that on the plastic packaging inside a triangle, number 1 to number 7 is written. That signifies which type of plastic is it. So as far as polyethylene terephthalate is considered, globally around 80 to 95% of polyethylene terephthalate gets recycled. Polyethylene terephthalate recycling is not a problem to be solved really. So it gets recycled using chemical recycling. And both technologies like bottle to bottle as well as bottle to fiber technologies also are there to convert waste water bottles or soda bottles into your new bottle, food grade bottle, or production of fiber which is used for making polyester cloth, or even cotton and polyester cloth combined can also be produced from PET bottles. Other types of plastics, let us say HDP, PVC, LDP, PP, PS, in case these plastics are segregated, in case of segregated plastic waste, then you can do the downcycling, which is mechanical recycling. You make granules from these plastics, and these granules cannot be used for food and pharma application. It can be used for, let us say, detergent boxes or anything that has nothing to do with food and pharma packaging. For that, mechanical recycling really helps. And almost all this 9% of recycling that is happening, it is all mechanical recycling. Solvolysis is one of the upcycling field which is coming up in case plastic is segregated. Uh, so it's very new at this stage. 99% of plastic waste generated is not recycled. That for that kind, because it is mixed. It is like all these polymers are mixed. Yeah. So that's why you don't have separate rows. It's all kind of mixed. And mixed plastic waste, you can do downcycling by compression molding, or in case you have to upcycle, then you can use pyrolysis and pyrolysis oil purification or gasification. So our company deals in pyrolysis and oil purification technology as such. Uh, why do chemical recycling of plastic waste is one of the important question, and the reason for that is that less than 10% of 350 million metric tons of plastic waste is recycled. Rest all plastic waste goes to landfills, environment, and it is burned in incineration plants. So it's a huge problem, and a lot of people don't know this, that plastic waste management also generates huge amount of carbon footprint. So amount of plastic waste that is burned in incineration plant and landfill fires generates 300 million metric tons of carbon dioxide every year. So from now to 2030, we will burn additionally 1.2 billion tons of plastic waste, and that will result into 3.5 billion tons of carbon dioxide emission. So it's a plastic waste management has a very huge carbon footprint. So if you see global plastic waste generation, it will increase from around 350 million metric tons per annum to somewhere around 460 million metric tons per annum by 2030. Um, Plastic waste that will go to incineration and landfill fire also will steadily increase to right now around 100 million metric tons to around 150 million metric tons per year. And if you see the chemical recycling ambitions of the top five global polymer producers, that would probably lead to chemical recycling of maybe 10 kilotons per annum of end of life plastic waste. So the ambition for recycling put together the 10 top 10 global polymer producers is very low, and that's why huge amount of plastic waste will keep going to landfills as such. So this, if you have to put all this pictorially, this is how it will look like. That the crude oil is used for production of polymers for FMCGs. FMCGs use plastic packaging, and that generates around 350 million metric tons of plastic waste, which generates 300 million metric tons per annum of carbon dioxide emission. Now, even if you take this plastic waste and convert it into plastic oil or pyrolysis oil, this pyrolysis oil has impurities, so it cannot be used back for production of polymers, and that's why there is a dependence on crude oil. So you can see that this is very much a linear economy. It's not a circular economy. So crude oil to polymers to FMCG to plastic dumping or burning. So it's kind of a linear economy. There's no circularity there, and that's because impurities in plastic waste stop the circularity of the carbon in the plastic waste. So the way AP Chemi technology solves this problem is we can either convert plastic waste into purified pyrolysis oil or a pure oil, which is a very good feedstock to be blended with crude oil naphtha for production of circular polymers, which are food and pharma grade. And this is how we create the plastic circularity. In addition to that, our separate technology also converts plastic into bitumen for road construction. So it captures the carbon from plastic waste into bitumen in the road so that without not only captures it into road and also without any microplastic pollution. So there is separate technology that we have. Um, we have one more technology that even if plastic is converted into contaminated oil by somebody else, we can purify that oil so that that oil becomes pure oil and it can be blended with naphtha for production of high value food and pharma grade circular plastic. So this is how we upcycle end of life plastic waste into circular pure oil and bitumen. Our core value is conversion of waste or impure oil into purified oil. So our pyrolysis oil purification technology uh, has lower capex, opex, removes more impurities, and has lesser carbon footprint compared to other technologies for purification of pyrolysis oil like distillation, adsorbents, or hydrotreating. Our pyrolysis oil purification technology has high pyrolysis oil purification efficiency. The core problem of this impure oil or even plastic waste is the chlorine impurities. And our technology removes 99.7% of chlorine impurities and very high quantities of nitrogen, bromine, fluorine, oxygen, silica, acidic, metal, and heavy metal impurities. And this is what makes our technology really usable in case of contaminated plastic waste. Like if you have plastic waste with polyethylene terephthalate contamination, PVC contamination, even like multi-layer packaging, all that can be processed through our technology for production of very good quality oil that can be used as a feedstock for production of circular plastics. We have validated our proof of concept and technologies. We have received written letters of intent from 8 global corporates, including BASF Germany, Shell Singapore, Unilever Global, PepsiCo Global, and so on. So we are not only producing purified pyrolysis oil, we are also creating the much needed cross value chain collaboration between FMCGs and packaging to accelerate plastic circularity. This other technology that we have, as we mentioned, converting end-of-life plastic waste into bitumen. Uh, the advantages of this technology is that this sustainable bitumen produced from end-of-life plastic waste can be blended up to 20% with conventional bitumen. It has negligible contaminants like organic materials, metals, or stone. It has lower carcinogenicity compared to bitumen itself. It reduces emissions compared to conventional bitumen or plastic to fuel or burning of plastic waste. And it does not create microplastic pollution during road wear and tear. So these are the advantages of our plastic to bitumen technology. And if you see the advantages of pyrolysis and oil purification technologies, our technologies are safe, energy self-sufficient. We have a lot of energy recovery that happens in these technologies. Pyrolysis technology, we have done more than 47 projects. We have huge amount of track record of these technologies. 340, 30, and 330 days of uptime is there, and it's a patented technology that also reduces the carbon footprint. We are able to remove impurities from pyrolysis oil as part of our oil purification technology. And this pyrolysis oil purification technology ensures that purified pyrolysis oil can go for production of circular plastics. Our pyrolysis oil purification technology also reduces the use of chemicals for pyrolysis oil purification and thereby also reduces the scope 2 and scope 3 emissions involved in advanced recycling of plastic waste. So looking at the carbon footprint numbers compared to say burning of plastic waste in landfill fire or incineration plants, our technology brings down the carbon footprint by 50 to 75%. Compared to the conventional pyrolysis and purification of pyrolysis oil, our technology is able to get the job done of producing purified pyrolysis oil at around 20 to 30% lesser carbon footprint because we actually reduce the use of chemicals in pyrolysis oil purification. Now, let's look at the market situation and the engagement process that is required for using these advanced recycling technologies for for cost efficient recycling of plastic waste. Uh, so it's a sunrise market to begin with. Recycling market based on pyrolysis is expected to grow to $100 billion by 2030. As per McKinsey and Company, legislations are growing profit pool of recycling industry, and pyrolysis itself is expected to contribute $25 billion to profit pool of recycling industry by 2030. There's a $500 million of plastic tax looming over FMCG and packaging, and uh, legislations like, say, European countries across the world are copying European legislations like recycling targets, plastic tax, extended producer responsibility, and this further, boosts this market every year. Now, looking at a global challenge, this is one of the important concept that we need to grasp, is that even though the core of mismanagement of plastic waste, like 99% of mismanagement of plastic waste happens in Asia and Africa put together, still 99% of investments in plastic waste management happen in Europe, USA, Canada, and Australia put together. So there's a huge disconnect between where is the plastic waste management and where is the investments in managing plastic waste. Now, how do we attract investments in advanced recycling of plastic waste? So it requires a cross value chain collaboration, and this cross value chain collaboration has to be between the players that are involved in plastic circularity. So uh, let us say plastic is used by FMCGs, that goes to consumers, then it consumers give the plastic waste to city councils. City councils appoint the material recovery facility contractor for segregation of plastic waste. That segregated plastic waste has to come to plastic pyrolysis plant, and then plastic pyrolysis plant converts plastic into oil. That oil has to be purified, and then purified pyrolysis oil has to go to monomer production. Then monomer producers don't produce polymers usually, so monomer producers hand over the monomers to the polymer producers, and then polymer producer produces the polymers that go to packaging industry, and packaging gives the packaging material to FMCG. So this is the entire value chain wherein collaborations are required across the value chain to make this happen. Now, this might look very complicated because usually in business deals, so many players are not involved. However, this is what is needed, and we are demonstrating it. The earlier we get into these kind of discussion, these kind of industries can be developed. There's a way to build a collaboration, and APKME, we as a company have developed expertise in building these kind of collaborations. So this is how the engagement process looks like in building such a sustainable plant at a lower capex and opex. So uh, first, we have to come up with an opportunity approach paper that lays down the opportunity, how much plastic waste is generated in a city, what is happening to that plastic waste right now. If we convert it into oil, then where all that oil can go, who all are the stakeholders in the project, and how the project will be developed as well as say installed, commissioned, and operated for how many years. So overall, project life cycle in a way can be it is to be drafted as part of the opportunity approach paper. Some people call it white paper for developing a chemical process plant, but this becomes kind of a first step or the first document, and this is kind of a mother document that guides the project throughout its life cycle. Once you have the opportunity approach paper and understanding of how you are going to approach the opportunity, next step is to develop a proof of concept. Proof of concept means that the you at a commercial scale, you are going to develop a process plant that will take maybe 50 metric tons per day or 100 metric tons per day of plastic waste and convert it into purified oil, which will be used by polymer producers to mix with naphtha and produce circular polymers. So this proof of concept assignment would be kind of start with say 30 kilograms of plastic waste rather than 50 tons. Start with 30 kilogram at R&D scale, push it through the technology, and then see how the technology performs to convert that 30 kilogram of plastic waste into purified pyrolysis oil. So basically proof of concept is involves doing maybe 10-15 R&D scale experiments wherein you not only evaluate the raw material but also combine the raw material with the technology and understand how what value can be created by combining particular raw material and particular technology. And this is very crucial step. You cannot evaluate raw material separately and technology separately. You have to combine them at some point of time, and lowest cost way of doing it is R&D facility. So our R&D facility has equipment worth more than $200,000 where we can conduct experiments of pyrolysis, oil purification, fractional distillation, upgrading, and produce quality of oil that would be acceptable to a petrochemical company for production of monomers and polymers. So once you have proof of concept, then you develop necessary technology performance statement for a given raw material. What would be the yield of the end products, what would be the quality of end products, what would be the quality of emissions, and what would be the quality of those emissions. So once you have developed a technology performance statement at R&D scale, that technology performance statement kind of becomes a backbone for doing say plus or minus 20% capex opex estimation, which is the third stage. Then once you do capex opex estimations, machinery cost estimations, operating cost estimation, land and building estimations, and all, and then you build a financial model. So financial model usually involves like 10-15 years of financial projections, followed by sensitivity analysis. What if the yield goes down? What if the interest rate goes high? So all this financial modeling and sensitivity analysis is done after that. And then you get into engineering and drawing approval. So mainly engineering involves a lot of simulations, like the way we derive process guarantees, warranties, and mechanical performance of equipment guarantee warranties is by doing simulations. Simulation softwares are extremely advanced and they can be used for taking a technology performance statement at an R&D scale, and with a lot of experience that we have of developing these commercial scale plants, we are able to then derive also say guarantee warranties for mechanical and process performance at a commercial scale. And once this, the reason why all these steps are mentioned in gray is because that is a de-risking phase. This is where you take out all the risk, and this de-risking usually involves somewhere around 8% of your capital investment. Once your de-risking is complete, then you go into the investment phase where you again do capex opex estimation, which is once engineering is complete, then capex opex estimations are like plus or minus 5-10%. That's where estimates get more accurate. Get into the procurement of equipment, plant installation, pre-commissioning, commissioning, operation, as well as say improving operations and growth. So when you follow this entire process over the period of say 6 months to 24 months, why 6 to 24 months? Because uh, in certain countries you can get planning permission very quickly. Like in India, usually you get planning permission or pollution control board clearance for setting up chemical process plant within a span of 3 months or so. But sometimes, in countries like Europe and UK or USA, certain regions, it can take 1 year or even 2 years to get permissions. So you have to adjust the speed of the project depending on how much time will it take for entire permitting and all that. But you can do it as quickly as 6 months, or you can do it, it can go up to 24 months depending on location and how quickly permitting can be done. And fundraising also can be done. So you have to adjust the speed of the project. But when you go through this entire detailed process of planning and getting the project up, you can be sure that you would be able to develop a highly competitive, scalable, de-risked and sophisticated project with around 30% lesser capex and opex. And this capex will go up by 30-40% if you don't do proper planning and pilots and proof of concept, de-risking via simulations and all that. So this is where we bring in a lot of strength as a company. So happy to take questions. This is where you can reach me, and looking forward to collaborating with you on accelerating sustainable circularity of plastic waste. Thank
This is the start, not the end. This is the start of the next chapter in our mission to ensure plastic is not thrown away or lost to landfill. At Dow, we're working to ensure plastic has as many lives as possible and ideally becomes fully circular with no plastic going to waste. And so we continue to develop innovative technologies across every stage of a plastic's life. A key tool in closing the loop is mechanical recycling. It's a process that involves grinding, washing and drying plastics. The pieces are then broken down into flakes. We are taking this used plastic and combining it with advanced resins to create new resins called Revolup. They contain a high percentage of consumer material that can be turned into new products. From stretch wrap films used to transport goods, to collation shrink wrap films, to artificial turf. And we're continually exploring new applications. That means a decrease in fossil-based feedstock needs, less plastic waste, and significant lower carbon emissions. In fact, Revolup has up to 1/3 of the carbon impact compared to virgin resins. We all benefit. At Dow, we are committed to using our expertise, knowledge and passion to close the loop on plastic waste. Mechanical recycling is an important and crucial contributor to waste management. This is not the end. This is the start of a new chapter.
Our stories are not ours alone. With animals, ocean, and all life on this planet, our stories are woven together. With happiness and struggle. With grief and triumph. With sounds of laughter and squeals of delight. With whispers of love and a child's first cry. Our stories are driven by purpose. For humanity to empower social recycling and steward the ocean. Stories of humans who believe that the creation of a wasteless world starts with them. Our stories of becoming, change, purpose, a solution, a movement. Our stories of becoming the humans of social recycling.
This is the start, not the end. This is the start of the next chapter in our mission to ensure plastic is not thrown away or lost to landfill. At Dow, we're working to ensure plastic has as many lives as possible and ideally becomes fully circular with no plastic going to waste. And so we continue to develop innovative technologies across every stage of a plastic's life. A key tool in closing the loop is mechanical recycling. It's a process that involves grinding, washing and drying plastics. The pieces are then broken down into flakes. We are taking this used plastic and combining it with advanced resins to create new resins called Revolup. They contain a high percentage of consumer material that can be turned into new products. From stretch wrap films used to transport goods, to collation shrink wrap films, to artificial turf. And we're continually exploring new applications. That means a decrease in fossil-based feedstock needs, less plastic waste, and significant lower carbon emissions. In fact, Revolup has up to 1/3 of the carbon impact compared to virgin resins. We all benefit. At Dow, we are committed to using our expertise, knowledge and passion to close the loop on plastic waste. Mechanical recycling is an important and crucial contributor to waste management. This is not the end. This is the start of a new chapter.
Our stories are not ours alone. With animals, ocean, and all life on this planet, our stories are woven together. With happiness and struggle. With grief and triumph. With sounds of laughter and squeals of delight. With whispers of love and a child's first cry. Our stories are driven by purpose. For humanity to empower social recycling and steward the ocean. Stories of humans who believe that the creation of a wasteless world starts with them. Our stories of becoming, change, purpose, a solution, a movement. Our stories of becoming the humans of social recycling.
This is the start, not the end. This is the start of the next chapter in our mission to ensure plastic is not thrown away or lost to landfill. At Dow, we're working to ensure plastic has as many lives as possible and ideally becomes fully circular with no plastic going to waste. And so we continue to develop innovative technologies across every stage of a plastic's life. A key tool in closing the loop is mechanical recycling. It's a process that involves grinding, washing and drying plastics. The pieces are then broken down into flakes. We are taking this used plastic and combining it with advanced resins to create new resins called Revolup. They contain a high percentage of consumer material that can be turned into new products. From stretch wrap films used to transport goods, to collation shrink wrap films, to artificial turf. And we're continually exploring new applications. That means a decrease in fossil-based feedstock needs, less plastic waste, and significant lower carbon emissions. In fact, Revolup has up to 1/3 of the carbon impact compared to virgin resins. We all benefit. At Dow, we are committed to using our expertise, knowledge and passion to close the loop on plastic waste. Mechanical recycling is an important and crucial contributor to waste management. This is not the end. This is the start of a new chapter.
Our stories are not ours alone. With animals, ocean, and all life on this planet, our stories are woven together. With happiness and struggle. With grief and triumph. With sounds of laughter and squeals of delight. With whispers of love and a child's first cry. Our stories are driven by purpose. For humanity to empower social recycling and steward the ocean. Stories of humans who believe that the creation of a wasteless world starts with them. Our stories of becoming, change, purpose, a solution, a movement. Our stories of becoming the humans of social recycling.
This is the start, not the end. This is the start of the next chapter in our mission to ensure plastic is not thrown away or lost to landfill. At Dow, we're working to ensure plastic has as many lives as possible and ideally becomes fully circular with no plastic going to waste. And so we continue to develop innovative technologies across every stage of a plastic's life. A key tool in closing the loop is mechanical recycling. It's a process that involves grinding, washing and drying plastics. The pieces are then broken down into flakes. We are taking this used plastic and combining it with advanced resins to create new resins called Revolup. They contain a high percentage of consumer material that can be turned into new products. From stretch wrap films used to transport goods, to collation shrink wrap films, to artificial turf. And we're continually exploring new applications. That means a decrease in fossil-based feedstock needs, less plastic waste, and significant lower carbon emissions. In fact, Revolup has up to 1/3 of the carbon impact compared to virgin resins. We all benefit. At Dow, we are committed to using our expertise, knowledge and passion to close the loop on plastic waste. Mechanical recycling is an important and crucial contributor to waste management. This is not the end. This is the start of a new chapter.
Our stories are not ours alone. With animals, ocean, and all life on this planet, our stories are woven together. With happiness and struggle. With grief and triumph. With sounds of laughter and squeals of delight. With whispers of love and a child's first cry. Our stories are driven by purpose. For humanity to empower social recycling and steward the ocean. Stories of humans who believe that the creation of a wasteless world starts with them. Our stories of becoming, change, purpose, a solution, a movement. Our stories of becoming the humans of social recycling.
nakikita eh. Oo nga. Wala nakikita siya sa ginagawa niya lang. Pero ano, sasabi ko, tulungan niya ako baka mag-slide.
Bakit bakit? Ayan, kaya yung nagwawala. Eh, dapat to
Dapat naka-on.
naka-on yun.
On yung pwede
Pag
pa yung on.
yung on yun,
Oo.
hindi ba automatic na on na yung
Kailangan i-post pa siya dahil
kaya nga, problema pag automatic. Pag on siya, no? Magpe-play. Magpe-play dapat. Ulit yun. Dapat yun.
This is the start, not the end. This is the start of the next chapter in our mission to ensure plastic is not thrown away or lost to landfill. At Dow, we're working to ensure plastic has as many lives as possible and ideally becomes fully circular with no plastic going to waste. And so we continue to develop innovative technologies across every stage of a plastic's life. A key tool in closing the loop is mechanical recycling. It's a process that involves grinding, washing and drying plastics. The pieces are then broken down into flakes. We are taking this used plastic and combining it with advanced resins to create new resins called Revolup. They contain a high percentage of consumer material that can be turned into new products. From stretch wrap films used to transport goods, to collation shrink wrap films, to artificial turf. And we're continually exploring new applications. That means a decrease in fossil-based feedstock needs, less plastic waste, and significant lower carbon emissions. In fact, Revolup has up to 1/3 of the carbon impact compared to virgin resins. We all benefit. At Dow, we are committed to using our expertise, knowledge and passion to close the loop on plastic waste. Mechanical recycling is an important and crucial contributor to waste management. This is not the end. This is the start of a new chapter.
Ang tawag nito.
Our stories are not ours alone. With animals, ocean, and all life on this planet, our stories are woven together. With happiness and struggle,
So everyone, may you please take your seats now. We will begin shortly. Use it. Okay, so welcome back, and I hope you enjoyed your coffee break, you meet acquaintances, met new friends. Okay, let's begin. Digital solutions in packaging production have gained acceptance, and today we have invited the head of sales of Cronus Filipinas, a German packaging and bottling machine manufacturer, provides lights for filling beverages in plastic and glass bottles or beverage cans. That's all. Welcome, Engineer Rodelio Espinosa. Microphone and this. Yes.
Good morning, everybody. Okay, okay. Since we have some intermissions by the fire drill, whenever there's an intermission, please, I will just give you a question, and then think about the answer, and then at the last of my presentation, I will give you my answer, so that we don't waste our time when they are announcing. Okay, I'm Rodel Espinosa. Actually, I'm the head of sales of Crones Philippines. Uh, we are a leader in beverage packaging industry, and every fourth bottle in the world is made by a Crones line. So we will discuss mainly today about digitalization, and I will introduce a little bit of our company Crones in for some of you who do not know us yet, but I know some of you know Crones very well because we deal with you. So before I begin with the presentation on who Crones is, the question is, okay, what is the difference between opinion and conclusion? Okay, then you just think about the answer when this starts telling us that this is a fire drill. Okay, now now Crones is a multinational company, and we have a huge corporate social responsibility. And with that responsibility, we are dealing with the three major challenges of humanity. And I will just briefly discuss with you what are these challenges that we are focusing on. So the first challenge that Crones is working on is on climate change. So Crones is in its operation and in its manufacturing of machines, we always have this energy efficiency and lower CO2 emissions in our technology. We also are into like shelf life extensions. That's why this technology will now reduce food waste. So climate change is part of our major concerns as a global company. Our second global concern is feeding the world. So Cronis is also involved with different processing technology. We have processing technology all over the world that produces alternative protein solutions and producing of beverages with minimum waste. We have this hygienic packaging also, and we're also doing aseptic packaging. And you're assured that all the products that comes out of Crones line are safe to consume. The third and the hot topic for our industry now is plastic littering. I think you have heard so many things about plastic littering in day one, and also in the presentation of Dr. Angel in the beginning. And in plastic littering, Crones is very deep into circular economy. We are concerned about all of the packaging lines that we build, because we're not only dealing with PET lines, we also deal with like can lines and glass lines. But since the hot topic for this century is mainly on the plastic littering, Cronis is also very much involved in this challenge. Now, Crones is into packaging solution, and one of the things that we develop is what we call an energy efficient blower. Blower like this is like Contiform Generation 3, of which we already launched also since last year our Contiform Generation 4, which produces PET bottles but consumes less of energy. This one can use 100% recycled material in order to blow new bottles. I think Pet Value knows this already. Some of our clients, or one of our clients, Coke, is already producing 100% recycled material, and they are using our Cronus blower. So this is something to be proud of in the Philippines now that we are starting to use recycled material. Cronus is also involved into designs of bottles, and recently we received an award for the lightest bottle possible for like a 500 ml PET bottled water, which is using like 5.95 grams for a 500 ml. The industry, however, is only using roughly 10 grams or 9 to 10 grams for a 500 ml bottle. But the recent development for Krones is using like 5.95 grams. Aside from bottle designs, Krones is also involved in supplying the industry with PET recycling equipment. So we have the technology to offer to our clients recycling, mechanical recycling. So whatever we produce from our blowers and its products consumed by our customers, the feedstock then can be converted into another raw materials, which is the essence of circular economy. So that means we produce bottles, we recycle bottles, they again turn it into raw materials, and then it's going around. Now let's have a look now at what happened to us in 2020 or the late 2019, where there is a COVID-19 situation. So let's talk about pre-pandemic situation and the new normal now in our business situations. In the agenda of climate change, in pre-pandemic, we always said, oh, we can have projects to mitigate climate change. But the new normal now, as everybody is talking about it, even day one or even last year, we must have now projects relating to climate change or mitigating climate change. With supply chain objective, um, before pre-pandemic, we are actually saying, okay, just in time. But because of the situation, we move now to on stock. Because now, because of the issues on supply management, the delays in the delivery of the parts and spare parts, you cannot actually predict just in time for your spare parts. It's because sometimes it takes you like 6 months before you get your spare parts. With digital operating and business models, which is the topic of the discussion today, we say before pre-pandemics it's desirable, but actually now, or it is an essential part of our business. Digital solution, which is the main topic of my presentation today, is a very essential aspect in our businesses today. Way back in 2020 and 2021, that was the time when there are restrictions on all borders. We cannot, Cronus, our experience, we cannot send engineers from Germany going into Philippines or any other parts of the world to install, commission, and even troubleshoot lines. And that's where digitalization came in, online or remote access or online assistance. So the coronavirus, the situation of the pandemic has changed many of our ways of working. With circular packaging solution in pre-pandemic, this we say multinationals are committing to it. But now, after the new normal, they are delivering their promises already. It can be like they were saying that, oh, in 2023 or in 2025, we will do like tethered cups. But now everybody is using tethered cups. That means cups usually sticks to the PET bottle so that it's easily recovered. So this is our new normal now, and it will continue. And that's what we see now in the businesses uh, with our clients. Now let's go to digital solution, which is the main topic of my presentation. In our daily life, we are always involved in digitalization. It's like the air we breathe. So digitalization is being used if we order our food. So you just get your cell phone, get the internet, and order from Grab. You can also pay for services and products. And at home, when you watch your favorite movies, you also use Netflix or other digital devices. We also have um, some sort of controls in our homes using digital solutions, wherein we have like CCTVs or turn on the air cons or turn on something remotely. In fact, when you do physical activities, you also count your steps, check your heartbeat, and then probably monitor how much you weigh, etc. And it has changed actually dramatically our way of doing things. In the office, online video conferencing or online meetings has been done more frequently than before. Even in the educational sectors, even now that there is less of a concern on these viruses, they are also now having online classes. Of course, you cannot move away from laboratory works, as what Dr. Baron was saying. Now, with our clients in digitalization, they are always asking us, what can digitalization do for us? Normally, they are always concerned about three major things. One is like, how can you decrease my capex? Or how can you help us through digitalization decrease our operating expenses? And how can digitalization give us higher overall equipment efficiency? So many major concerns. The way, how can we track our losses? How can we improve our system? What are the things that we need to do in order for us to lessen downtimes? Or uh, how can we determine the correct number of inventories? Things like that. And digitalization helps in this way because it gives you the information that you need. And in the digital way, information is always key. Now, in Crones, we have transformed all our lines to digital lines. That means all the machines that we deliver to our clients are already equipped with remote access. That means even though our client says, oh, we do not need it, it's part of what we deliver. All the lines of Crones now are capable of being remotely accessed from our head office. We are moving away from on-site premise solutions and we are moving to cloud-based solutions. So all the information now are cloud-based. All the service centers of Crones now are equipped with uh, technology to help or assist our clients in order for them to keep their lines running online. And we also have like what we call service level agreements. And these level agreements are those propositions where our experts are continuously monitoring the line. And when they see anomalies or below or above the current set parameters, they will inform our clients, oh, the motors are heating up, please check. Or the pressure has dropped, please check. And then if this one will occur more frequently, you need to check or replace items that are connected to it in order for you to avoid longer downtime. So basically, Kronos solution now is digitalized. Now, this is the whole portfolio of Kronos digital solution. Kronos is not just in digital. I'm just telling you this because this is part of my presentation because of Kronos digital solution. But we do not only offer digitalization, but the Kronos digital portfolio includes everything. It includes warehousing. When you order your raw materials for production, it includes also planning. It includes also monitoring the lines. And after you produce it, it also monitors the product when it goes to the point of sale or track and trace capability. So we have the complete lines in monitoring your products, starting from raw mats to finished products to the point of sale. But it will be very long for me to discuss about all of this portfolio. So we will just focus mainly on these two aspects, which is advanced analytics and shop floor guidance. Okay, advanced analytics and shop floor guidance into to give you a very simple explanations that advanced analytics gives you transparency of the lines. That means it gives you information. It gives you how much you produce, what is your efficiency, what are your downtime, what is the major machine that is contributing to that downtime, how do you solve that, and what are the performance of the second shift, the first shift, and the third shift. So these are information. Shop floor guidance is giving you active notification when the line is going to stop. So it tells you like, oh, labels will run out in 5 minutes. Please change or go to the labeling machine and load new labels. So it's an active notification. But not only notification, it also gives you some ways on how you will fix the machine. We call a standard operating procedures. But we will go to that later. Now, let's talk about advanced analytics. Advanced analytics helps you understand the causes of downtime. It also gives you the opportunity or the operators to explain what happened to that downtime. Like for example, the label or the labeler stop. So the machine will say, "Oh, labeler stop," and then what happened is that the operator can go into the system and check why and input the data why the labeler stopped. It also gives you detailed information of the shift, and it calculates your overall equipment efficiency. This is a sample of the presentation wherein you can see it's color coded. Yeah, the color coding signifies one particular machine. So for example, this machine is the blower. So you have like the duration of the downtime. So it means that you will get from this a professional report saying, oh, in one shift, you have like 5 minutes, 10 minutes of downtime, and it is contributing to the lead machine, to the filler, to the labeler, or to the bottle wash. It gives you now all the data that you need in order for you to analyze the performance of the line. Technically, before digitalization, clients have a logbook. Our clients have logbook. They write down when the machine stop. Okay, at 10 a.m. labeler stop. At 10:30 the filler stop. Then they have this logbook, etc., etc. And then when it's like end of the year, the logbook is dilapidated already. You cannot recognize it. But now you have all reports in cloud system, and you can get it like 5 years from now, etc. And advanced analytics is split in two views. The first view is line visualization. That means you can see now the schematic overview of your line, the status of each of the line and the downtime counters. It can also show you the performance of the lead machine. Normally in a complete line, it's the filler. And it shows you the speed diagram. So this is one example of the schematic diagram of this is one of the dashboard of the digital solution, and these are the reports. So it shows you now, okay, this is the filling machine now, and everything is running below the filling machine or over the speed of the filling machine. If some of you are familiar with the line, normally there's a V curve where you say like, okay, the filler is the 0, 1 and the leading machine, then you get the palletizer and the downstream and upstream. It also gives you the number of products that you produce. The second view are the machine reports. It represents now what the shifts have done, what are the OEE, and you can even go back to 1 month of production to compare it with the recent month of production. We have this term time stealer. Time stealer is the one that tells you now what are the downtimes. I mean, who are contributing to the downtimes. You see from the dashboard in our digital platform, you can see now the green part is the time where the machines are running, and the red part is the time when it's downtime. So in that downtime, you can see now what are the causes of downtime and what is your overall efficiency. Basically, we categorize now the advantage of our system is as a way that the operators now are able uh, to learn more about the lines, to learn more about the downtimes, learn more quickly on how to solve problems on the lines. And the supervisor has enough time to analyze the performance of each shift. And the management have the time to develop systems in order for them to optimize uh, production efficiency. Basically, when you say advanced analytics and giving you information, it boils down to decreasing of downtimes about 10% and increasing your efficiency to about 5%. So that is what we say is the benefit of advanced analytics. Now let's go to shop floor guidance, because my friend is telling me like I only have like 5 more minutes. Okay, shop floor guidance now. This one is a system, a scenario wherein there are multiple stops in the line. And if it is an unguided solution, that means the operator will just fix the error where he is very closest. So if he is very close to the palletizer, then he will fix the palletizer first, not knowing that the labeler is the one that causes the downtime. Okay. And this is the scenario now where you have a supported line and you have this shop floor guidance. That means the system is telling you now which you will solve first, then go to the second one until you run the line. That means you do not waste time in figuring out which caused the downtime. So this is now the scenario wherein you compare now unsupported with the guided line. It's if you imagine we have a line running like a 10-meter wide and 50 meters long, and you cannot actually go from one place to another. So this is another scenario wherein you have the whole system. Basically, there is a fault in the machine, and the shop floor guidance will send messages on your smartwatch and telling you, oh, there is some problem with the palletizer, fix it. Or it can send you messages on your cell phone and saying, oh, the palletizer needs to be taken care of. You need to load something. Or if you're very close to the HMI, you can also see the fault in the HMI. That means you're actively notified on what needs to be done. There is another good advantage of a shop floor guidance wherein our customer is saying that, okay, um, in our factory, when you train a person and after a person is trained, they go abroad to look for greener pasture. This is a normal way of doing things. I set up a line like this, and then I train personnel. And when you train the personnel, they are equipped already and trained. And then after a year, they leave the company because Saudi Arabia pays more. So in shop floor guidance, this is the best what do you call this? This is the most sought out feature of our shop floor guidance, meaning avoiding knowledge losses. With shop floor guidance, you can take video on how you solve the problem of a labeler stopping or the filler stopping. And this video now can be downloaded into the platform. And when there's a new operator, they can just have a look at the video and they learn from the videos. It's like a Facebook of the line. So you store all the videos, you note all the videos, and then the new operators will just learn. So it is avoiding losses, knowledge losses in the system. We do this sometimes in our lines, but the information are scattered all around. He has a video, it's in his computer, it's in his computer. But the shop floor guidance connect them together in one platform. That means if you want to learn about labeler, you just click on labeler and it gives you everything about labeler. How to load new labels, how to repair it when it damaged, how frequently you need to oil and how frequently you need to change the vacuum grip cylinders or whatever. So shop floor guidance is one of the solution, and a sought out solution is normally avoiding knowledge loss. Now, I will show you a video. It's a video that we took from one of our lines that shows you the performance of shop floor guidance. It's not that we wanted to lessen the number of people in the line. It's just we wanted to make the line run more efficiently. Uh, let's watch the video. So this is a returnable glass bottle line, and if you can imagine, it's a very long line being operated by one person, or maybe two. So he receives now a task on his mobile device saying, "Oh, you need to change the labels, or you need to load the labels, otherwise it will stop." So he goes there and load labels. And after the loading labels, he immediately informed the system that he already loaded the labels. And that is complete. Another sample is bottle washer. So the operator is notified that there is a fallen bottle. Because if there's a fallen bottle, the line will stop. And the system now sends a message to the operator in his cell phone that you need to go to the bottle washer and remove the fallen bottle. And then he checks that one and then just notify the system that it's complete. That's easy. And then the line is running it. So that's it for my presentation. The guy said 1 minute. So anyone, because we don't have that ding dong, anyone who has an answer to what is the difference between opinion and conclusion? Anyway, I will tell you because he told me I have 1 minute. So when there is fire in the hotel, you can enter that because that's opinion, but you cannot go out because that's conclusion. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, and thank you for that extra knowledge. Next, our speaker will talk about a very crucial topic, innovations to support the circular economy in the Philippines. He is Mr. Mervin Fonseca, the Solutions and Engagement Director Technical Engagement of GS1 Philippines.
Morning. Good morning. So, who else Googled what cold orange and cold blue means? Parang ako lang. So, hindi kayo nag-worry. Right. So, the hard part in doing your presentation at the tail end of the conference is that at the very least, you have to go at par with the presentations of the experts that have gone before you. Today, it's a big task for me. So, sustainability and the circular economy model has become business imperatives today. Like what the good engineer said, it's no longer just something good to have, but essential. And as the digital transformation continues to reshape the industries, it also presents opportunities to create a more sustainable business. At GS1, the organization that I represent, we believe that traceability, um, transparency, and data powered by global standard and sustainability as great connections. So my presentation will be a story about the connections between traceability, transparency, or what they call visibility and sustainability and data. So, but first, let's deal with the terminologies I just mentioned. Am I clicking it right? Yes. Okay, so this was mentioned as well earlier. Traceability, start with it. It's defined as such. Um, sounds very technical, and it is, I'm sure the good engineer will agree. However, it is very easy to understand. Traceability is the past leading up to the present. It enables you, your company, or the people in charge of the product to tell the story about the past movement of the products in question. Okay. And also the current status. However, and traceability answers questions like those on the screen, but you cannot actually get a picture of the actual status of the product as it is now without visibility. Right. So visibility, on the other hand, gives you a holistic view of the supply chain, enabling you to answer those questions on the screen, which you can see right now. uh, Visibility is both about the present and also about the future. It enables you to and give you the power to make better decisions. But what about transparency? Um, Transparency for people responsible for products is product data transparency. Um, it is the availability of information regarding the product, the process in its creation, distribution, etc., and even about locations and parties responsible for it. The same is true if your products is software or services. Now, you're probably familiar with this type of product data uh, through the product labelings and the data on the shelves on the marketplaces. However, labeling and those information cannot answer the questions or about the complete picture of the product. Um, and transparency answers customer-facing issues like those you can see on the screen. So mostly consumer engagement. Now, what is the connection between traceability, transparency, and sustainability? right? Let's say that you are concerned about the critical raw materials that involved in the manufacturing of the product that you wanted to buy. For example, the mobile phone that you have there. You want to know uh, information regarding the lithium ion in the battery of the cell phone. Now, the device manufacturer, wherever that may be, has to make that data available. In short, they have to be transparent about it. Now, they may have multiple suppliers for this raw material, but the question is, which material makes up which lithium supplier supplied the lithium in the lithium battery in your phone that you're holding right now. Now, for them to be able to provide those accurate information to answer that question, they have to have traceability capability. The same, so traceability and transparency capabilities makes answering that question possible. No. And to be successful with sustainability, if you're planning to do such initiative, you have to have both. Now, understanding the connection is easy. However, only then you can start with any sustainability initiative that you plan for. You cannot hope to change the way you produce, recycle, package, distribute, transport your products without first establishing a level from which you can do investment or improvement. And you cannot do so without being able to do traceability. And as you have no doubt noticed, I won't be able to explain this without mentioning data. And that is because data is the very foundation of the circular economy. Data is a critical asset because implementing a truly circular economy require a huge quality data. You cannot rethink production, distribution, consumption without it. And when you speak of the flow of goods and the flow of materials in a circular supply chain, meron yung corresponding movement ng data, which should also be circular in its nature. Now, this in turn makes data quality important. You need data that is portable, structured, and based on a common language. Oh, in short, yeah, circular data. And since this data will not be handled by us, but by machines, the data should be based on a common language for these machines to communicate. Now, a sustainable circular economy is next to impossible if, and would not to mention cost more, unless data is structured. Uh, a research company, Deloitte, they conducted a research based on cost and cost benefit analysis regarding the implementation of the DPP, Digital Product Passport of EU. More on that later. And the conclusion is that it will be um, more costly for Europe to implement that if they're not going to use global standards. Now, so it is fundamental that we enable product data to be shared between stakeholders. As mentioned earlier by the expert, the CEO of AP Chemi, collaboration, the exchange of information. Any sustainability initiative cannot be done alone. However, sharing data implies that we stop seeing data on a proprietary perspective. So instead, we should focus on industry-driven and global standardized data and information. And that's where global standards is playing an important role. At GS1, we believe that the identification of everything makes anything possible. In fact, any digitalization effort cannot be done without identifying identification. You can identify this machine. You can identify this bottle. You should identify. Must be able to identify every factor in the process that if you want to improve. Now, this is especially true when it comes to sustainability and with product traceability. Uh, it will not be common if there is no common agreement to identify things about places, objects, events. If you don't agree on identifying this information, product traceability would be impossible. And GS1 standards is more than just product identity. So we have a full suite of keys or identification keys that can be applied and assigned to any point of the supply chain with all the players of the supply chain, from the harvesting in this example up to the selling point. Now let me share with you some innovations for GS1 standards and is playing a vital role in the our attempt or our goal to have a circular economy. Right? So all this sustainability initiative, it's not new, but it has taken traction after the EU adopted the 17 SDGs. And of course, not to be undone, the EU had their Green Deal, okay, which was adopted in 2019. And of course, as a global standards organization, um, we are also supporting, yes, one's also supporting these goals and as well. And we are starting a new revolution, positive kind. We've revolutionized commerce 50 years ago, and now we're doing it again by introducing the new generation barcodes. You probably scan the QR code somewhere. So one right at the registration. These QR codes powered by GS1 will combine the two most important invention in our time, which is the internet and the barcodes. Um, by combining them, they are more powerful than traditional QR codes or any traditional barcodes that you see today. The GS1 standards enables QR codes to be scanned by customers using your phone. At the same time, be scanned by the point of sale, the checkout counters. So if you notice, pag nag-pay, if you use QR codes, a QR page, and you pay using those, let's say, what they call this payment schemes, using your phone, you scan them, you scan this QR code. Pero the checkout, the cashier cannot scan that. They have to use a separate scanner. Now we're pushing global industry, the retail industry, to have to be able for the checkout to scan those QR codes at the point of sale by 2027. So for those who are responsible for product labelings and packaging, soon you will have QR codes and no longer be printing those lines and spaces. Kasi as of the moment, you print both, diba? Consumer engagement QR codes. For the cashier, the POS, yung lines and spaces, the linear barcodes. So by 2027, pwede na yung QR codes sa point of sale. Okay. So in connection with that, just last year, the EU adopted the Sustainable Product Regulation. This requires anyone who wishes to sell their products in the EU to provide digital product passport. Ito yung sustainability initiative ng EU under the Green Deal. In a nutshell, this requires any manufacturer or brand owner to put digital product in passport or information regarding the materials or recycling information about the products on a scannable barcode. Any product that will be sold in the EU. And the GS1 GT or barcode will be used for this. Okay. In connection to this, the EU Commission called for proposals in the industries, and yung SIRPAS yung they wanted the call for the proposals. The SIRPAS is funded by the EU. It's made of 31 industry partners. This includes GS1 in Europe, our colleagues. And they are laying the groundwork for the eventual implementation of the DPP, or the Digital Product Passport, in 2024. That's next year na pala. Kabilis. Okay, so they're targeting initially three sectors: batteries, textiles, and electronics. You can actually see it now in Europe. Um, and we're probably cell phones with replaceable batteries will make a comeback, because the legislation will make them, we force them to do it, to make the cell phones to be easier to fix, and that includes the batteries. Hopefully we follow suit. Kasi from what I've heard, India has the same legislation, yung right to repair. Yung right to repair kasi natin, ano eh, walang pangil. Okay. So and it goes, parang nag-end lang siya sa warrant. After that, wala na. So sa EU, kailangan madaling i-repair yung bibili mo. So hopefully, we follow suit and we don't end up to be the downside of those hard to repair cell phones. Now there's also the R cycle. This is a open traceability standard for sustainable plastic packaging. This is created by an alliance of companies and organizations in Europe. This is also based in GS1 standard. Uh, in an R cycle process, the DPP, or yung digital product passport, this is encoded in either the QR codes, a barcode, or digital watermarks, that, or what they call the drug tech, if you're familiar with that. This is something they put an image or a pattern on the packaging itself, which enables the machines, packaging machines, those listed there, to identify the plastic and then adjust their processes. Say, this is also being used in recycling plants. Say when the plastics, the collected plastics will go through the conveyors, and then the R cycle system will be able to identify which is PET bottles, which is not, etc. along the line. Then this in turn gives them better quality recyclings. So in short, circular data for circular plastics. Now there's also this one Belgian brand of upcycled nightwear. Upcycle kasi from men's shirts, nagawa daw nightwear women. So from one shirt recycled, they save 5 liters of water. So they print, go ahead, you can scan it. They print the DPP on the QR code on the tags, and then if you scan it, you'll see information regarding this specific and unique nightwear. So it gives you information about uh, how to iron it, the composition of the textile, etc., how to recycle it. But they are taking it even further. We've heard that they're going to print the QR code on the textile itself, so as to cut using cardboards. Also in Japan, after the government required transition from paper package inserts on the packaging of the medicines and drugs. You know those leaflets, paper leaflets, were folded small, which you can hardly read because the fonts are too small. In Japan, they are these pharmas are required that the barcode can be scanned, so you can download those leaflets. So with this, so they got on, of course, they got on the use of papers and printing. also, when there are changes, kasi just know this, just found out that these leaflets, this information are um, frequently edited and updated. So every time in print sila, so they have may bagong information, they change the leaflets and the inserts. So by just using the barcodes, any type of barcodes, they scan it because it's powered by GS1 standards. They scan it and then they can download the version automatically. If your phone allows your location identity, it will download the right language of the leaflet. So hopefully we do the same. Also, this can also be used aside from the consumer. This can be also used by the checkout counter on the pharmacy. Yung mga pharmacies, the pharmacies can scan the barcodes, any type of barcodes, and then they will alarm them if there are recalls, etc., regarding the product. So as consumer, kayo din, if you take home the products and you scan them, the barcodes, it will tell you if there are recalls that are announced for the product that you have or you bought. So not only that this type of digitalization and the use of GSM standards eliminates paper waste, also improves patient safety. Now, in Korea, after the Ministry of Environment, they mandated a labelless PET bottles for mineral water starting 2026. The first to do it is this brand in Jeju Sandal. So then, as mentioned earlier from the doctor from the DOST, plastic is very hard to recycle. So this makes it even easier to recycle PET bottles because they're not using the usual wrap plastic on the bottom. So according to them, they're going labelless. They are using 30% recycled PET chips, and this reduces tons of plastics every year. Not to mention paying less tax. There are I don't know if we have that locally. If you use plastics, you pay more tax. So by going labelless, they pay less tax. Right. It's like running out of time. Right. So we've heard that Japan and Taiwan is doing the same soon. Hopefully, Thailand. Right. So Woolworths naman is very one of the biggest retailer. They're using QR. In this case, it's a GS1 data matrix barcode. They use it to encode batch, lot, and expiry. So by doing so, they reduce food waste. So what happens is that when you buy something ready to eat or heatable packaged food, the cashier will scan the data matrix and gives her or him information if it's near expiry date or best before date, can input a discount, or if it's expired, stop the transaction, etc. Or if they're according to their traceability investigations, there's a product recall for the specific, let's say, specific chicken from this company. They will be able to do that right at the checkout. All right. Last one. In China, the government started using the Zhejiang Food Traceability Project. Yeah, this actually started when they had the. You still remember the melanin scare? Naging parallel na sila with traceability. They're now tracing every type of products, including seafood. And then, ito na prepackaged food. They put QR codes on the labels, then which help them save 200 tons of paper because nag-e instead of the traditional na invoices, they use electronic invoices and they save 2.6 million yuans. The customer can also report any problem regarding the product by just scanning the QR code, which according to them, they got over 14,000 complaints registered last year, and then half of it, and twice this year, but was able to resolve those issues. Now, there are a lot more of this innovation using GS1 standards, digitalizations for sustainability initiatives. But of course, as always, doing the presentation to the last point. So we won't have time for that. So I would need to wrap up. Now, these innovations, they made it clear that sustainability and profit don't have to be at odds. Okay, so companies now have learned that they can increase efficiency, they can drive growth, okay, and serve customers while achieving more sustainable practices. Now, the triple bottom line of people, planet, and profit is actually possible. We just have to bring business challenges and sustainability within the context of good management. Parang ang mantra natin is that good management is synonymous to sustainability management. Now, I would like to end this by saying that sustainability is a global challenge. So it takes all of us to uh, to solve all these problems and actually be able to be transition to a more circular economy. Okay, and we need innovations and solutions, but innovation and solutions that are powered by global standards. And at GS1, we have that power. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Mervin Fonseca. Now, to wrap up our presentations, our next topic will make Pinoy manufacturers and investors proud. Mr. Joey Roy Bundok, the Associate Director of Colliers, will tell us why Philippines is an ideal site for plastics packaging and recycling operation. Let's welcome Mr. Joey Roy Bundok.
Thank you. Again, I want to thank Rainier for inviting me to speak and present on what's happening in the industrial sector. So at Colliers, we cover the industrial segment and looked at the factors. What will be the factors that will further drive the Philippines as an attractive industrial location? I know that you've listened to specific sectoral presentations, company presentations, but I want to zoom in on the macroeconomic environment and what will entice a lot of manufacturers, plastics manufacturers to be exact, to invest here in the Philippines. So it is a more macroeconomic look at the regulatory environment in general. And I believe that overall, after this presentation, you'll learn a thing or two on what will further drive the Philippines' attractiveness as a manufacturing side, especially for the plastics manufacturer. So let me just give you a quick recap here on what's happening to the GDP growth. And if you look at Southeast Asia, the Philippines is definitely one of the fastest growing economies. And we grew by 7.6%. That's in 2022. But overall, we believe that there's a greater potential for us to grow. So as you can see here, 7.6%, one of the fastest. You know what happened in 2020 at the height of the pandemic? And we're starting to grow at a much faster pace. We're over the hump, as we say, in terms of economic contraction. And hopefully, we grow at a much faster pace moving forward. There's some greater potential for the Philippines to grow. And in fact, if you look at the overall there's 5.6%. That's the projection for 2023. Well, that's a little slower compared to what we saw back in 2022. But the good news is the Philippines is still one of the fastest growing economies in the region. And that's 5.6%, 5.8% in 2024. As you can see here, we're likely to grow even faster than Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam. And why is this comparison important? Well, these are manufacturing hubs. These are industrial hubs in Southeast Asia. And it's really important that the Philippines grows at a much faster pace compared to our peers across the region. Overall, if you look at the Philippine economy, it's primarily consumption-driven economy. That's why this economic structure alone makes the Philippines a viable, an ideal investment site, even for plastics manufacturers, because about 75% of our GDP is comprised of personal consumption. We are a primarily a consumption-driven economy. That's why if you have global financial crisis, Asian financial crisis, if you look at the Philippines, we are somehow shielded from global economic shocks. And one of the major reasons why we are shielded from this major global economic meltdowns is because we're primarily a consumption-driven economy. In a way, that is good. It's a double-edged sword because on one hand, you have personal consumption that sustains economic growth, but on the other hand, the other end of the spectrum, you have the Philippines lagging behind its neighbors, especially when you talk about Thailand, when you talk about Indonesia, Malaysia, and their growth that is primarily manufactured and exports driven. Again, that's 4.3% in the second quarter of this year. We do not have the final data yet for the third quarter, but the forecast is that the Philippines will grow at a more moderate pace for 2023, but still becoming one of the major economic growth drivers in the entire Southeast Asia. If you look at the Philippine economy, remember I mentioned earlier that we're primarily a consumption-driven economy. The Philippines, about 75% of our GDP primarily coming from household consumption. And one major driver of that is remittances. So you probably have relatives, friends who send you remittances, or you yourselves probably worked abroad at some point, and the remittances continue to fuel the Philippine economy. And why not? Remittances account for about 10, 11% of our country's GDP. And as you can see here, much of these remittances coming from the United States, from the Middle East, Hong Kong, and some Southeast Asian economies, including Singapore. The central bank is projecting remittances to grow by 3% this year. So that's about $33 billion in terms of cash remittances. And again, if you inject that to the fuel, to the Philippine economy, that will continue to fuel our personal consumption. Again, making the Philippines, raising our viability as a manufacturing hub across Southeast Asia. The problem is, while Filipinos abroad continue to send home remittances, continue to send $33 billion in remittances every year. When you go to your favorite supermarket, drugstore, or any footwear and clothing shop, any retailer in your favorite mall, inflation is starting to inch up. It's really high at this point. Remember, in January of this year, our inflation was about 8.6%. And in the Philippines, that is the fastest pace of inflation in about 14 years. And that started to decelerate in February, March, April, May, June, July. But August and September of this year, that again started to increase. 5.3% inflation in August, and then 6.1% inflation in September. The good news is that unemployment here in the Philippines is starting to decline. So meaning more Filipinos being employed, and we're trying to catch up with our other Southeast Asian neighbors. In Southeast Asia, you have the likes of Thailand, Vietnam. They have unemployment rate of what? Only about 2-3%. In fact, if you look at ADB data, and an unemployment rate of 2 to 3%, it in fact considered full employment already. But we want to achieve that level of growth, that level of unemployment, so as to make the Philippines again an attractive location for manufacturers. Because of course, locators, these companies will choose to be in a country where you have a good consumer base that have purchasing power, that are starting to get more affluent. And basically, if you have all these economic characteristics, more companies, more manufacturers will choose to locate here in the Philippines. Unfortunately, we still have one of the lowest GDP per capita. So overall, remember I was earlier discussing GDP of the Philippines, and so divide that to total population. So you come up with the GDP per capita. So you can see here for Singapore, it still has one of the highest GDP per capita, then followed by Malaysia, and then Indonesia. Unfortunately, the Philippines still has one of the lowest GDP per capita across the region. So about $80,000 for Singapore, $4,000 for Vietnam, as about 3,500. The goal is to make the Philippines an upper middle income economy, an upper middle income country. And if we achieve about 4,000, 5,000 GDP per capita, definitely we will be on our way to achieving that economic status. And I always talk about viability of the Philippines as a manufacturing hub, as a plastics manufacturing location in the region. And this, again, is a very important consideration with the Philippines becoming or achieving its very high and strong pace of economic growth. We believe that we will be up there in terms of GDP per capita. Now, when we talk about economic story, one major plank of this economic story is that the Philippines becomes an attractive site for many manufacturers. Why? Because we have an improving infrastructure network. The Philippines previously, if you look at the previous administrations here in the country, we were only allotting what? 1, 2, 3% of our country's GDP on infrastructure. We want to make the Philippines an attractive location for foreign direct investments across the region. And we won't be able to achieve that if we have a very disappointing infrastructure backbone. Look at our airports. They're, well, one of the worst across the world. Look at our railways, our passenger cargo railways. We want to spend the 5 to 6% GDP growth that the World Bank recommends. So that's 5 to 6% of every country's GDP in absolute terms. That translates to about 1 trillion pesos every year. Unfortunately, previously, we were only allotting what, 2, 3%. This started under the previous administration, under the Duterte administration. Because if you look at our neighbors across Asia, they are even allotting 5, 6%. China, 9.5, Vietnam, 8%. Thailand, Malaysia, 5 to 6%. And that is percentage of GDP, infrastructure spending as a percentage of GDP, and within or even higher than the 5 to 6% recommended by World Bank. Now, why is this important? Again, if you're a manufacturer, you want to be in a country that has well functioning airports, that does not experience blackouts, that can, capture and welcome more flights, greater capacity. We want to have passenger railways, cargo railways, so as to have a seamless transportation of your goods from your manufacturing site up to your local groceries or supermarkets. That's how important infrastructure is, especially for a lot of manufacturers. That's why, if you look at this third column here, infrastructure ranking out of 141 countries, the Philippines unfortunately fares disappointingly. We're part of what? Bottom 25% of all economies surveyed. When you talk about infrastructure connectivity, infrastructure network, and the overall quality of infrastructure backbone. You want to be part of top one third, similar to what China has been able to achieve Vietnam. So it's no longer surprising to see these countries achieving, recording substantial amounts of foreign direct investments. The Philippines, if you talk about our competitiveness, again, we are a laggard in Southeastern Asia. This is just the IMD World Competitiveness Survey. If you look at infrastructure, we are unfortunately not doing so well. We are at about the 43rd, 58th place. Then business efficiency, government efficiency, again, part of bottom 30%. And again, you won't be able to attract all these investments, whether manufacturing, plastics manufacturers, and other manufacturers of consumer goods, if you do not have a quality, modern infrastructure. Imagine it will be difficult for you to start your business, and that falls under government efficiency, business efficiency, the quality of your roads, road network, cargo railways, passenger railways, all these fall under infrastructure and business efficiency. That's why out of 64 countries surveyed by IMD, the Philippines ranked 52nd. So we're part of, unfortunately, bottom 25%. But our neighbors are up there: Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia. And one unfortunate result of this is that the Philippines attracts a very low level of infrastructure investments, of foreign direct investments. If it's difficult for businesses to do business here in the Philippines, to register business here in the Philippines, definitely they will hesitate to open new shops here in the country. And talk about difficulty starting a business. This is a major factor: corruption. How has the Philippines been failing in terms of anti-corruption, transparency initiatives? Well, we are again a part of the bottom 10%, 20%, 116 in terms of anti-corruption ranking. But look at Singapore, Malaysia, Vietnam, part of top 50 percent. And no businessman, no foreign investor will be willing to invest or put up a shop, a manufacturing facility in your country if your corruption and anti-bribery measures are ineffective. Overall, all these factors that I discussed previously all contribute to the Philippines again becoming a major industrial location. But what's important and what's crucial is that if you look at overall globally ease of doing business, again, this includes the ease of registering your business, how easy it is to open a business. In some countries, you just have to fill out one form and need perhaps two signatures, you're open the following day. But here in the Philippines, it takes what? A lot of signatures, a lot of days to open a manufacturing facility. And that has really been a major reason why we are a laggard in terms of attracting the much needed, the revenue generating, employment generating foreign direct investments. This is a positive here Because the Philippines, if you look at our population, we're more than 110 million at this point, and perhaps this is a very good sign because if this continues to grow, then you have a very good, very strong consumer base. And one reason why I was discussing all the GDP growth, GDP per capita expansion earlier is because if we continue to grow between 5 to 6% moving forward, there will be greater affluence in the local market and there will be greater purchasing capacity for all Filipinos. And all these factors, again, play an important role in making the Philippines an attractive location to invest in. So, as you can see, you're now able to connect the dots why I was discussing competitiveness, why I was discussing infrastructure, corruption perceptions index, ease of doing business, population, because the end goal and the end result that we want is to make sure that the Philippines attracts all these investments. And this is the forecast of Philippines close to 130 million. So imagine that that is a very good consumer base. But that won't be a major factor, indicator to attract investments if there will be no money to spend on. If there will be no increase in GDP per capita, no purchasing power to talk about, right? Now, when you also look at the Philippines being a very attractive investment location, a good site for manufacturing locators, what's important is that we provide the substantial enough supply of industrial parks. And the Philippines has a lot of these. When you look at Central Luzon, so Cavite, Laguna, Batangas, Southern Luzon, all these industrial parks, warehouses are being developed across these two major regions. So again, at Colliers, we're a real estate services firm, and we deal with all these major companies that you can see: Ayala, Philinvest, Aboitiz Land, First Philippine Holdings, Science Park. They have been providing all these industrial parks and again, these are very important sites for a lot of manufacturers. And if you look at total investments here, we're attracting a lot at this point, but we want to attract more manufacturing investment. So 2022, that's the outer circle, only about 44% of total investments. But hopefully, we attract more. Now you see why, again, I discussed all these economic and population and competitiveness factors because you want to attract more. Look at this graph here. The Philippines again fares disappointingly when you talk about foreign direct investments. We are not, unfortunately, still a major location in the region for foreign direct investments. Only about 9.2 billion in 2022. When you have our neighbors such as China, 190 billion. India 52.3, Malaysia almost 60, Indonesia about 46 billion, and then Thailand 12 billion. So we're only getting what 70, 60, even only a tenth of what our economies, other economies, Southeast Asian economies used to attract. And we only envy, can only envy all these investment figures that our neighbors have been attracting. This is an important indicator again. So aside from the economic indicators, factors that I discussed earlier, Purchasing Managers Index. So a score that is above 50 means that manufacturing operations are expanding. And as you can see here, 2016, since 2016, we are more than 50. So that's a very good indicator. 2020, again, because of COVID disruptions, we saw a decline in the Purchasing Managers Index. But that is recovering. And even if you compare the Philippines versus other Asian economies, we even have one of the highest, about 50.6 compared to other Southeast Asian economies. So The earlier indicators, well, the Philippines unfortunately was a laggard, but this is a very good indicator because in terms of the attractiveness of the Philippines of manufacturing operations, finally we are getting noticed, and finally the Philippines remains on the radar. But we want to amplify that. We want to make sure that we sustain this attractiveness. And we can only do that if we can support this indicator here, the indicator, the purchasing managers index, with all the infrastructure, anti-corruption, the GDP expansion that I discussed earlier. I think it's important for manufacturers to be in industrial parks because, well, it there are perks, and then this include reduced corporate income tax, reforms the business permit processing, so ease of doing a business. That's what industrial parks do: automation of transactions, and even the continuously improving infrastructure. So infrastructure, railways, the road network out just outside of your industrial parks are usually much better compared to other locations. And again, these are the perks of locating in an industrial park. You have with the flexibility of your warehouses that can easily be reconfigured, the potential for customization. So if you have your warehouse, if you choose your preferred warehouse, that can be retrofitted, renovated based on the requirements of your manufacturing operations. And then well maintained road networks. Again, as I highlighted earlier, your road networks are paved, are usually much better compared to other roads outside of your industrial park. And then subsidized utilities. Well, one major reason why manufacturers continue to locate within an industrial park is because of subsidized electricity, water charges. And again, for a lot of companies that are choosing to remain sustainable and eco-friendly, um, eco-conscious, definitely they want to be located in an industrial park because most industrial parks are designed to produce minimal waste and harm to the environment. Of course, if you're a manufacturer, especially if your company is headquartered in Canada, US, you want to make sure that your company waste is minimized. And definitely, this is one of the major perks of being located in an industrial park. And again, as I discussed earlier, there are a lot of options. You have major developers here, Ayala, Philinvest, Science Park of the Philippines, that are building a lot of industrial parks all over the country, especially in our major industrial hubs, including Central and Southern Luzon. So again, if you look at the Philippines, we are on the radar. We're starting to be on the radar of a lot of manufacturers. Previously, we were only attracting what? From 2010 to 2016, only getting about $3-5 billion in foreign direct investments, employment generating investments. But now we are getting more. 2022, that was a very good year, $9.2 billion in foreign direct investments. But again, we want more. We want to be at par with our Asian neighbors, Thailand, Indonesia, Vietnam, Malaysia, who are getting 20, 30, $50 billion of foreign direct investments every year. And the economic factors that I mentioned earlier, economic growth, GDP per capita, infrastructure, anti-corruption perception index, ease of doing business, all these factors will play a crucial role in helping the Philippines become a viable, attractive manufacturing site. And again, moving forward, we can attract more plastics manufacturer if we all fix this institutional problems that we are seeing at this point. But there's a lot of promise. The GDP per capita is rising, employment is improving, population is growing, but we need to have more purchasing power. And we can only do that if the Philippine economy continues to grow at a much faster pace, hopefully 6%, and infrastructure network, infrastructure connectivity, and spending at around 5 to 6% for our country's economic output. So that concludes my presentation, but hopefully you can also follow Collier's based on our social media platforms. So we're on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and if you want snippets of our previous presentations and even partnerships with Rainier Humor, check our YouTube channel. So thank you for inviting me. And again, hopefully you learned a thing or two from my presentation.
So that's our last speaker, Mr. Bondo. All right, now we have concluded the presentations. Again, if you have questions for the speakers, you may still approach them. For now, we will be giving away gifts for our lucky delegates, but please don't forget to fill out the survey form. And the survey forms, you can scan the QR codes on the cover of your conference folder. The conference folders are placed inside your echo bags. So there you can fill in your comments about the presentations and the organizations of this event. So that will help us plan our next summits. Okay, while you are filling in the survey forms, we may call on Mr. Ivan Pan